I'm someone who likes to put myself in different worlds I see on TV shows, movies, and books. And what I happen to be into very recently is Bridgerton and Pride and Prejudice and like the Tudors, kind of stuff like that, okay? I thought about what if I put myself in that narrative? Because I'm a immersive daydreamer. Like, I literally been doing that since I was 9. I would literally act out stuff. I would pretend I'm in a different world and I would just like doze out from reality. I still do that. I've been doing that since I was 9, like I said, and I've been doing this for 11 years now, since I'm 20. The realistic fact is that you can't just bring the Regency era into modern day because we have technology, we have like crazy work schedules and all that stuff to map around. So it's like you can't just magically put yourself into those worlds unless you have time to yourself and you're just in a daydream, But I feel like with me at a point, I just wanted to bring it into reality. So it's like instead of drifting off, putting myself over there, I'm bringing it to my reality. Truth is, you cannot ride a carriage to work. You have a car. So it's like that right away is kind of annoying because you can't just, put on a ball gown and it's like, I'm going to go to work. No, you have a dress code. And same for school. You have a dress code for school. Like, you can't just randomly show up in like a princess dress and like, hey, I'm a debutante. You're gonna be like the weird kid at school. Some people may admire you. I would be jealous, but like, in general, you can't just magically do that. Especially when you don't even have a carriage or you maybe not have a Bridgerton outfit. I don't know. I do not. So I'm not gonna bother about that. But I think the main thing that we're trying to talk about in this video is how do we amplify stuff in the Bridgerton world or Regency era, whatever you want to incorporate it from, into modern day where we have technology, doom scrolling, TV. Like, how do we do that? I think the first thing that we need to get in the clear of is why do we do this daydreaming when we see TV shows and movies of like worlds that we want to be in? Why do we want to pretend or even see ourselves as a character in those narratives? I think it's, for me specifically, it's more about a sense of belonging, that I'm part of something, because like in stories, there's always a plot, there's always something happening in the background. But in real life, it's like there's moments where it's just like a general daily repetitive thing. You go to work at this time, you come home at this time, you're hanging out with your kids at this time and all that stuff. Like, it's all so, like, it's in a cycle. But in a movie, in a TV show, there's always something new. So I think we need to decide, like, what is that new thing that we want to bring into our lives? What is gonna make it feel more thrilling when it's dull, you know? Because I feel like us as daydreamers, we definitely daydream when we're either by ourselves or we're in a major environment where there's a lot of people around us, like a cafeteria or like a family gathering where we're just zoned out. The more that I daydream, since I've been doing this for a long time, the more I just kind of wish that I could settle on reality and just get on with my work schedule or get on with school stuff. But I just never could because I was always somewhere else. And now, like, I literally been doing this for 11 years. Like, I'm prone to just daydream at command if I wanted to. But it's just like, there's stuff I know that I want to do, and there's stuff that I just can't help but, just daydream about because that's just a part of my nature. It's just what makes me me. It's a part of me. So it's not about trying to shield that from happening. You can't just say, like, oh, I'm going to stop daydreaming suddenly, because that's not going to work. You got to accept it as part of you, because you can't be fully who you are alone without it. It's like the only person you have at the end of the day is yourself, so it's like you can't really put aside something that was always about you, that's always a part of you. You can't just like, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's not a major habit you need to break because your imagination can actually fuel different creative passions. Like, for me, I wrote a musical. I wrote 2 albums in a span of 5 months, and I just used my imagination just to go off of that, and it brought it to life. So it's like, I want to help you guys. In a way, it's not fully with creative stuff, of course, unless you want to do hobbies like that, that's fine. But it's more about how we can actually get, like, habits and mannerisms and behavior, stuff like that, even your thoughts, to kind of replica the version of yourself that you are in your mind, in your world that you go to. Ways that I've tried to do this in the past is like listening to music on a playlist as I studied. Like, I'd be listening to classical music as I got ready or as I studied, or just even took a walk even. And yeah, that's fun to do. But at the same time, I just kind of feel like it still missed community. because I'm doing this by myself, you know, like, come on. So I'm definitely someone who actually has made imaginary friends, I guess, just based off of wanting to be in that narrative. It's alive in my mind, even though they're not actually, visible in real life, let's be honest here. But I don't think that makes me crazy. I just think it just kind of shows maybe I'm a little bit lonely at times, but at the same time, what I realize with this is I actually kind of prefer being alone because like I get to be more creative free with myself, if that makes sense. Like, what do you want to pull from there into your day-to-day life? Like, it could be writing letters, it could be going for a promenade, it could be, I don't know, like focusing on your posture and your speech and like train yourself in etiquette. You could get into painting like Benedict. You could be doing piano like Francesca, like anything like that. It's more about just pulling something that you're inspired by into your day-to-day life so you can even feel inspired yourself instead of having to doze off somewhere in your mind. So yeah, what I decided to do was I picked up reading, literally Pride and Prejudice, right here. Do I understand it fully? No. I don't understand it fully because like this was not written in this time frame. It's just something to experiment with and play around. It's not something to have like a necessarily like deep down schedule into. Like if you wanted to do like a crazy schedule as if you were someone in like a big family and you have like all these expectations to line up, you have to learn a language, you need to know this and this and this. You can do that if you want to, if you have time, go for it. But I just kind of feel like it's always coming back to the point that you feel stuck, because I definitely do. It's like, how do you find a balance between imagination and reality? Like, how do you do that? And I think it's just the main thing, you need to accept that this is who you are. This is a part of you. You cannot hide that. You cannot shield it from yourself, because that's kind of like dishonoring who you are as a person. Like, if you want to be somewhere and you want to live somewhere else, like in a forest or in a fairy tale, then literally, like, you don't need to dress like it. You don't need to ride your bike because these people are. You don't need to ride in a carriage to work because these people are. It's more just like trying to find a balance between what is in there and what is here. We have social media, we have the TV, we have couches we like to lounge on. It's like, you need to think about what exactly is it that you want to pull from there to bring into here. At the end of the day, still, it's like the community. Like, where is that at? And I think that's just something that we need to realize, that the community is always going to be right there. It's our family, it's our friends, it's those people that we actually see in our day-to-day life. And one of the craziest things with imagination is that you already have community of your own that you created in your mind. They're there. They're around the room wherever you're sitting at. It could be your imaginary boyfriend. It could be your imaginary best friend. I understand that. And I don't think there's need to take shame into that when, if you've been doing imagination for as long as I have, it's like, you can't take shame in something when you literally took time to create it. You built it. You gave it a name. You gave it a hobby. You gave it a life in your mind. It's alive in your mind. Just even if you can't see it. And it's kind of like the worlds that we would imagine to. If we imagine our bedroom as like this big castle room, like a tower, then okay, that's what it is to us. That's fine. It's just, I think it only comes out as crazy if we explain it to other people who don't understand it. I think community or even the environment is what really resonates between reality and imagination. Because your environment, it can be whatever you want it to be, but your community is like those actually around you physically, not just in your mind. And I think when we're around people that we're in a, like, who we live with or we're in a friend group with, it's just like we're this version of ourselves that is like away from our imagination, but we also kind of zone out at times too. If you relate to that, do let me know, because that's definitely how I was. One thing, major thing I realized with wanting to live like the Regency era is that it is all with intention, precision, slow and steady intention. It's all intentional. It's like taking your time to do your hair, taking your time to get ready or lay out your clothes before you go shower. It's not just doing what the average person would do I do this because the average person in my mind doesn't actually exist, because no one is ever average, let's be honest here. There's people who can be basic, yes. There's people who follow trends, I get that. But average, I don't think it exists, because everyone else is unique in their own way. I think it's more just finding some way to live more intentionally. Because, like, with Bridgerton, it's like they have a schedule, they have, like, expectations for themselves, you know, like, they have etiquette and all that training, all that study to go through, that responsibility. And I think that's what also makes it with intentional, too, because you want your real life to be intentional like that. You want that schedule, you want that responsibility, you want something like that. But the truth is, you go to imagination because you don't know where that is in your real life. So you have to kind of create it in your mind through a narrative. That may not fully make sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So what can you do in your day-to-day life to make your life more intentional, as if you were seeing yourself as a Regency era woman or man? And that's kind of the hard part, because you actually have to accept reality as what it is. So to be more intentional, maybe it's waking up early and going for a morning walk. You know, it could be listening to classical music, because that's what Bridgerton would do. Or like the instrumentals. Like there's playlists that does Bridgerton music on YouTube. Listen to those. It's just like whatever's going to help you feel like that world is brought into your reality. Like turn it into your own modern. Build your own modern society through your mind if you need to. But like just bring it to life. Make it your new normal. And those who question it may not understand. But no one has to understand. What matters is that you chose to do this, and you're actually like finally like kind of feeling at peace with your mind and the world that you built for yourself through reality. Like it's a weird balance between imagination and reality, I know, especially as a daydreamer. But it's like that's the beauty of it, because daydreaming, even just imagination, is a major skill that most people think they just naturally have. Like, I literally thought, like, most people already had their own daydream worlds. I realized a lot of people don't, which I'm like, what? It made me feel so weird. I was like, what? Okay. But, I mean, that's what makes you unique. So, like I said, you can't shield it. You cannot shield it. Especially when you're alone in a room, in your own bedroom. Fucking embrace it, bro. Embrace it. It is who you are. And if it's going to make you feel a little bit better going throughout your day, pretending you're in the Bridgerton world while you're like reading a journal, what? While you're reading a book, while you're going for a walk, pretending you're on a promenade, whatever it is, you're still taking action as if you were there, and you're still moving your body. Your body is still going to be there with you every second, every day. Same as your mind. Sometimes you'll be in tune with this world, sometimes you'll be focused on reality. That's how it naturally is, okay? It's not fully about finding a balance, it's more about just accepting that there can be one. There could be a balance. And I think another thing too is with living intentionally, it's about being aware of your body and your mind. When you're laying down in bed, your body is at rest, but your mind is on. When you're up walking, your body is moving, your mind is still on, but your mind is like, you're giving it time to just think about what's around you. You're giving it time to just think while your body just moved you somewhere. I feel like as I talk more about this, I'm losing the original topic of the video. I'm so sorry. But it's like, I just hope maybe at least you got something from this. If it even made any sense, probably not. But I haven't posted on YouTube for a few weeks since my musical, so I'm just like trying to get back into it. Just be patient with me. I got some voiceovers coming. All right. I love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this video, or at least, like I said, learned something from it. I don't know. But yeah, see you guys. Bye-bye.